Well, let's start running down the gear for this May 30th backpacking trip. First big decision, I decided to go with a ultralight backpacking tent instead of a hammock, only because I need a little more freedom of movement, having a little bit of problem with joints and stuff like that. So, and again, the cat probably won't be going with me, but he wants to be in the video. So there's the backpacking tent. It has, like I mentioned before, full cross ventilation front and back, and I just treated it inside and out with waterproofing. Major components to the sleep system: we have the Thermarest air mattress. Not sure how much that weighs. It probably weighs 1.5 pounds because it's not new. I know that this is an older Slumberjack 20-degree sleeping bag, and it was 2.2 pounds when I bought it. There's the sack it comes in, and of course then we have here the trekking poles, Hiking Hunger they're called. They work well. I've tried them once. They're light. They weigh less than 1 pound for the two of them. Running down the gear, we're going to start from left to right on the floor, and then we'll go into clothing. So let's start from the bottom. Well, let's just see what's on the left here, and we'll go from left to right. So I've got 3 pair of socks, 3 types. I may bring more. I may bring 5. We have ankle length, crew length, and full length socks, depending. They are not cotton. I believe the gray ones are merino wool, but I'm not sure. They're Dickies from Walmart. They're all Dickies from Walmart, and there's no cotton in them. And there's a stretch cap. The weather could be as high as 50 during the day and as low as 2 at night, although I hear it's 20 usually. So going to the right here, this is a balaclava right here. I like those. They're very, you can wear them as a hat, or you can go full face or half face protection. And I'm going to get into clothing a little bit later, so I'm going to take the pants liners. I'm going to leave those out for a second, but you got an idea of just the socks and the headgear. You know what? We're into it, so why don't we just go pause our rightward movement and go into clothing. So I find that most folks insulate their core, the trunk of their body, much more than the extremities, yet it seems to me that the extremities are what needs more insulation. So for legs, I have very thin, tight base layer. I have a medium weight mid layer, and then I have Columbia hiking pants. Now these Columbia hiking pants, I don't believe are made for winter. They're lightweight, but I was already out in 25-degree weather with those 3 items on, and it worked really well. So that takes care of socks, hats, and face covering. Now let's go, and that's leg covering there. So now let's go to base layer, long sleeve, Enertech or other non-cotton long sleeve shirts, and that's it for base on the top, because I find that I get way too hot. So I have one pullover here, and then on top of that, if I need to layer more, I've got a North Face hoodie. And then if the weather gets really, really cold, we've got a puff jacket here, and then another puff outer layer. So we've got a total of 1 North Face, 2 fleece pullover, 3 puff jacket, 4 outer puff with a hood. Lots of layering we can do. So that pretty much takes care of the clothing. The boots I'll have to show you another time because I haven't decided, but I'll just tell you vocally that they are from the Walking Company, and they are designed to be both waterproof. They have an inner membrane and breathable. They are about ankle height, so I can get them wet. And if they get wet, well, they won't lose their insulating capacity, so we're just going to keep them. So let's continue. We have the Sawyer Mini water filtration system. That's been excellent for me. I've got a titanium mug for cooking. Not much to say about that except that it is extremely light. I can't remember the weight, but it's extremely light. Like jet boil. And I'm going to pop the top on this for a second because I want you to see something. I've got a jet boil and a coffee filter system all together. There's actually a can of fuel in there, so I can actually take 3 and still only be taking up the space of 2. Speaking of which, there are the 2 canisters of fuel, so that takes care of cooking except for my spork there and the fire starters. We have a Bic lighter, a fire stick, and some stormproof, windproof, rainproof matches, which I have never tried, but I've heard that they work all the time, everywhere. A little bit of utility here. I've got a hanging light that I hang inside my tent or hammock, whichever I'm using, and an ever-ready headlamp. Those are my 2 light sources. I also bring a mini flashlight that fits in the palm of your hand as an emergency, but that's not here. Then I have a utility bag, complete with some duct tape and tie-outs, extra tie-outs, things like that. Electrical tape, also a rubber repair kit in case I spring a leak somewhere in my air mattress, which would be terrible because being comfortable is the most important thing. These ties tie the air mattress in a very tight bundle. And then also we have, I got this at CVS. I think they were like 2 for $10. I think I've heard it described as a 14-ounce fleece. But it's very warm, very comfortable, and could be another layer of insulation, so that's part of the sleep system. Extra bags or stuff sacks, just in case we have to, put stuff in storage, or maybe for dirty laundry, that kind of stuff. This has been an interesting thing. This is my knee pillow. I sleep better with something between my knees, and this does a really good job of separating my knees and keeping my legs in a very comfortable position for sleeping. So as long as we're talking about pillows, I also have 2 pillows. They're called drool pillows. I got them from EMS about a year ago. They work really well, and as you can see by my hand, they're not too big when they're stuffed. I'm going to come back to that section in a second, but I got off of the kind of hardware and stuff. As you can see to the right of the spork, I have a saw, and this is probably the best, most lightweight saw I've seen. I'm going to try to use one hand and open the blade here so you can see it. It's very lightweight. I can't remember when I weighed it, but it's certainly a lot less. It's a Gerber, and you can see the sawtooth there. Really nice, and it comes in I don't know if it's a self-sharpening case, but it is definitely a good piece of equipment to have, because I'm not going to cut anything too big. I'm not going to be a big mountain man. I'm going to cut small stuff because I don't use a regular fire too much. I have my stove. I always have a compass and a knife sharpener, though I do not have a pocket knife yet. That's something that I have to buy. Next up is the toiletry kit. We got a set shower size or travel size deodorant, toothpaste, tissues, hand sanitizer, a little bit of shampoo, and that's pretty much it for that. Some moisturizer. Another utility bag includes some more colored electrical tape and some extra ends for the trekking poles just in case. First aid, I've got stuff for minor cuts and abrasions, gauze pads, medication, some tape to wrap gauze, but nothing for a major injury. I'm not sure what we would do if we had a major bleeder other than try to use a rope as a tourniquet and use some gauze or cloth to stop the bleeding. So that's utility. Now, I may or may not bring this. This is my complete hammock sleep system, or support system. It's not a sleep system, and I'm going to show you as I begin to explain that the hammock system. Next to the cat here, I have a couple of other things. This is, of course, the over tarp or rain fly for the hammock. That puffy bag is the quilt, and then the black bag here, which is Eno. They're both the inner quilt and under quilt. The black bag is the under quilt. The under quilt and the inner quilt are both Eno, and together they weigh about 3 pounds. And then you have about, I don't know, probably a pound to a pound and a half of hammock, which includes ropes and what I call toggles, which are wooden sticks that I use to attach the webbing to a tree. It includes the webbing itself. And then again, we have the rain fly, which is very, very nice. It has closures on the end, so you can actually close everything but the bottom, and you can pitch it really tight. So if I were bringing the hammock, those 1, 2, 3, 4 items next to the puffy jacket would be my sleep system, my protection, and the hammock itself with the supports. But I'm thinking of just taking this, and again, it's adding a pound, maybe, the way this is feeling, maybe a pound and a half. But I'm thinking of taking that and using it as a seat during the day, because having a tent, I have nothing to sit on, and that makes a very comfortable seat during the day. So let's move on. So basic thick ply backyard garbage bags for just waterproofing stuff and general use. We have a pack cover, and then I've got an inexpensive Frog Tog rain suit here, and it's very light. Frog Tog is the brand, and it just sits right here in the pack. You've seen this pack before. This is an Atmos 65 AG. Nice pack. It weighs about 4 pounds, but it's absolutely worth it, because you can't get more comfortable than having a pack with this kind of design and engineering. The old aluminum frame packs didn't even really have much of in the way of a waist belt, where this one transfers just about all of the weight to your waist. It's got a beautiful ventilation system. As you can see, you get through ventilation right here. I have my water bladder inside. Let me just show you that. The water bladder is inside the bag right here. The hose comes up, goes out, travels down this side, and clips this way in the middle of the pack. When you're walking, there's a magnet on the chest strap that you can see right here, and that will take the water outlet, and that will be around your chest as you're walking, so you can grab that water anytime you want. This pack has an H2O or water slit for the hose to come out of. And just one caution, when you're putting your bladder in your bag, this bladder has a I'm going to try to see if I can get you to see it here. This bladder has a round top, like a cap, like on a jar, and make sure that's tight. We had a lot of problem with that one time when we were hiking. 2 in a row we had loose, and the water came out of the bottom. So that's it. That's an overview of the equipment that I'm taking camping. I don't think there's anything else. There it is, all laid out, including the cat, who really likes the comfort of it. So I got cat comfort approval on that. And I'll give you a base weight, and we'll see how it goes. Dolly, Sods, here we come.